Good morning, folks. Just wanted a quick hello before everybody wakes up and, the day is started. So, it's about 8 o'clock. December 25th, Wednesday. Merry Christmas. It's about 63 degrees in here. So, as the Beatles say, so now is Christmas. Well, for folks who like white Christmases, we got the snow last night. There you go. Just to prove I'm a redneck. You can't be a redneck unless you park a car on the front lawn. So, there you go. There's a car in the front lawn for you. Anyway, the purpose of this video, there are two. One purpose is to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone out there, all my new and old subscribers, all the people that just drop in to watch. Been a good year. I've been on YouTube for a little over a year. I joined somewhere around Thanksgiving. A year ago Thanksgiving, that is. Look at all those presents. Yeah, I gotta tell you, if there's such a thing as reincarnation, you want to really come back as one of my wife's or one of my kids. There you go. Or one of my pets. They're all spoiled. So anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. And the second thing is I had a request on the pellet stove. This pellet stove is a Jamestown. There you go. And I think I've run enough pellets out of it where you can see the sticker here. And that tells you some of the more specific information. There you go. Look at that. It almost looks like it belongs here. There's the serial number, if that means anything to anybody. That's the distance you're supposed to keep it from things. So, anyhow, got a good stove. I installed this, I think I installed this the winter of 1996. And it's been running since. Didn't do a great install job. I used an existing fireplace, obviously, and just kind of ran the pipe up the chimney and then stuffed insulation around it. I burn about a bag a day. A bag of pellets around my area. They go for about 200, 210 ton. I think these were 200 a ton. And depending on what county you get them in, you may or may not get hit with a fuel tax. I bought these pellets in Ulster County and trucked them home, and they were $1.99 a ton at Tractor Supply. I went with the Green Supreme. These pellets are obviously bagged. I like these pellets a lot. The better the pellet you put in it, the less frequently you have to clean the stove. If you kind of put the crappy pellets in, or you end up with a shipment of crappy pellets, for this stove, I can end up cleaning it like every second day. It'll kind of go 2 nights and a day. So 3 days. The crappier the pellets, the less time it'll go. If I use good pellets, like I used, those were good. I fired this thing up when the day I got home from the hospital special surgery, which was Sunday. And I think I let it go. I think I let it go until Friday before I cleaned it out. So the better the pellets, the closer to a week you get. The worse the pellets, the closer you get to, you know, having to clean it out every other day. You won't quite get to a week, and with crappy pellets, you won't quite get to having to clean it out every day. But I mean, you get my meaning. The more you know, the better the pellets, the longer the time between cleanouts. Also, the more heat you get. I got a bag of pellets, or I got a. It was only a half a pallet. It was a half a ton of pellets. That I don't know what it was. I'd burn those pellets, and there was like no heat came out of them. Didn't matter if I had the stove on high, medium, or low. They just burned, and I got nothing out of them. So you know, burn some good premium hardwood pellets, and you'll be happiest with the stove. When I got this stove, and it came with the pipe and everything I needed to install it, that black surround thing there, the elbow, everything for install, it was cheap. I think it was like $1,100-$1,200 to replace this thing. Would now be probably closer to, I don't know, $2,500, maybe $3,000 with everything to install it and all. Maybe, yeah, probably between $2,500 and $3,000. So Musty One got a couple of deals up where he is there. He picked up a couple of stoves for like $150 each. So I mean, that's a nice price for a functional pellet stove. I've had to replace both blowers on this thing. One blower is used to circulate air through the heat exchanger in the room, so to speak. That one, what happened is I'm not sure if a bearing went or a spacer went, but it was to the point where the it's a sideways blower, a squirrel fan, double squirrel fan. Let's call it a double squirrel fan. And one of the squirrel fans kept drifting toward one side and clinking. You know, as it would go by, there was something on that side that it would just barely brush, and it would clink. And I could move it out of the way, but it would keep drifting there. First it would drift there like once, maybe every other day, and then it got to the point where it drift there every couple of hours and make a whole load of noise. So I had to replace that fan. Though the motor's good. As a matter of fact, it's behind those pellets over there. The other fan, the one for the heat exchanger, or for the air exchange to blow, you see how things are flying around in there? There's a blower that does that. It feeds the fire and moves, you know, the gases out of the stove and all. This is kind of a self-venting stove. It doesn't, I mean, you need a certain amount of draft, but I can have a little hole in the wall and it could be blowing out horizontally, and it would do that just as well. It creates its own draft with the blower. Anyway, that blower, the combustion blower as it's known, I've had to replace that one. It was still working and the bearings were still tight, but the bearings were beginning to scream. And it's kind of distracting to, you know, you're just relaxing and the bearings will scream for 5 minutes. Then they would stop. So neither one of those things would be like, if the stove was out in the garage, would have been too much of a problem. But for it to be in the living room here, especially where my wife teaches piano, that's not a good thing. So that's the pellet stove story. Once again, bagged pellets. I've always used bagged pellets, and I guess the reason why I just really have no ability to have this big bin and store pellets and, you know, transport them around. I guess it's cheaper that way, and if you live next to a pellet factory and you could get them virtually for free that way, one could do that. I've only burned pellets in this thing. I've not burned pits or corn They don't recommend it, but I know some people try that in their stove. I don't burn chipped wood. Some people, I've heard of them carefully almost picking chip piece by chip piece and putting that in their hopper and burning that, or burning a mixture of that and pellets. I don't do that. I just burn bags of pellets, and because of that, I've never had a clog. The auger has never clogged on this. Knock wood. Once again, it's been a pleasure. I figure for every bag of pellets I burn, which cost me $4.10 or whatever, I save about 3 gallons of oil. And 3 gallons of oil in my area would be over $10. So I burn 4 and I save 10, which overall is a savings of $6. This house is big. It's a big old farmhouse. If I had no alternate heat, if I just let the oil burner, the boiler, run, I would probably burn easy 5-6 gallons a day, and I could easily, during the cold weather, it could go up to 8 or more gallons a day. And this house literally would burn 1,000 gallons of oil a year, and once again, that'd be $3,500. I was crying bad enough about the $1,800 I spent last year. I guess that's about it. Anyway, folks, live, love, and have a great time. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Horde. Till then, remember, tires down, handlebars up. Merry Christmas, and for those of you who are checking out, maybe going on a Caribbean vacation, I won't see you there. I'm going to be here, but Happy New Year to those folks that are checking out. There'll be more videos, but once again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone out there. Bye now.